Hi guys, and welcome back to Finding Your Indie. We are in video 5, I believe. It's the number 3 on our list for marketing plan must-haves, and we're doing a little series on how to do marketing plans and the important pieces of a marketing plan and how they relate to you and how you can implement them more accurately. I love that word, accurately. Okay, last week we talked about how to put items that you already have into your marketing plan. So things like audiobooks, paperbacks, hardcovers, whatever, all those things, how to implement them into your marketing plan. Really what we were talking about last week is what are they and how to know what you have. We haven't really talked about yet how to put them into the marketing plan and put the pieces together, but they are important to know, and that should have been your action step, was to make a list of those. All right, so this week we're talking about how to take your current assets and turn them into more assets. Okay, whew. So I say this a lot, but planning is important, okay? And I'm trying to drill that into your head because planning is so important. I'm a mom of 6, as you know, and I wish I did a better job at planning. I actually am really good at planning. I'm super anal about notes and stuff, and putting what's going to happen in the list. But there's always something that comes up. So for instance, my son got a fever, and that means that my 6 hours of sleep went down to 2 hours of sleep. And I need sleep really, really bad. But you know what? I also have a plan in place so that I know that, okay, I have an extra day to move some of my word count to. If I'm not able to get my 6,000 words today, I can shuffle them over, and that's totally fine because I've planned for it, okay? Now, I've only planned 2 days this month for sicknesses. So if more than one kid gets sick, I'm screwed. And that's possible because when you have a sickness go through a family of 8, it tends to go on forever. But that's okay because I've implemented things for that kind of a strategy. But what we're talking about this week is we're talking about how to take your backlist assets and turn them into something to release. Because months happen and days happen where sicknesses come on, or you're tired, or an emergency happens, or you have to go do something, or a pandemic is planned, right? Like all types of things happen, and they really get in the way of us maybe hitting our production goals. That doesn't mean that we have to not release something. That doesn't mean that we don't have things in place. So let's talk about that book that you just finished writing. And you're like, yes, this book is done. I've done all the work for it. Yay, go me. And that is awesome. That's super awesome. But you've written one book. Let's say this one book that we're talking about. You wrote this one book. Is that it? Are you done? Yeah, you can put a paperback up. That's awesome. So then you have 2 things for sale, and you only had to write one. So you have your ebook and your paperback. Well, let's say that you want to be kind of, bold, and you're going to be adventurous, and you put up a hardcover. Awesome. Paperbacks and hardcovers don't usually make a ton of money, but they make some, don't they? So they start compounding on what they're getting, and paperback readers might go and read the ebooks because it's a little bit more convenient, or hardcovers, people collect those. So there's other things that can draw you in. Let's say you're like, okay, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to get an audiobooks in the works. If you're an author, most likely, and I'm not saying this for everybody, but most likely you're not a narrator. So that means you can have your 4th asset being worked on in another window, another little slot thing, so you don't have to work on that. You will have to obviously format and edit it and listen to it and proof it, but that doesn't mean that you are doing the actual narrating. Okay, but that's a 4th one going through. But what are some other things that you can do to repurpose that content that you just spent a lot of time on that can help you with your brand, help you with your series, help you with sales and recognition, and help get your name out there? Okay, so we're going to talk about some things that you might give away for free, some things you might charge for, some things that might not be up for your brand but might help you come up with something else for your brand. There's some things that we're going to talk about, and these things you'll include in your marketing plan. Okay, so let's talk about this. This is building on last week's and the weeks before's videos. So the video, the first one of the list was your production schedule. So you should already know what you have coming out and where you're at. Okay, and you've already given yourself days off. You've planned for sicknesses. You've planned for the fire that might be coming around. You've planned for these things. Then you made a list last week of the items that you already have available, and this includes all assets, right? So you already know if you have an ebook and a paperback, an audiobook or whatever for that series or that book. Okay, so this week like I said, we're talking about what assets and new assets we can make from our backlist or current releases coming out so that we can continue to release and be relevant. You could also create events from your backlist. Okay, and again, all of these can come into your marketing plan. So first, let's talk about items and then we'll talk about the events. The reason that I would be like, hey, I think it's really important that you release something new from your old content is because let's say you're not a super fast writer. And by super fast writer, I'm saying, because for instance, I consider myself a fast writer. I release 2 to 3 books a month, depending on which pen names I'm going to and who I'm releasing through. I consider myself a fast writer. Some people might consider 1 book every 3 months fast, 1 book every 6 months fast. It just depends on what what your idea and your definition of fast is. Okay, there is no right or wrong answer. If you are releasing a book every 3 months, you might want to do some more assets and release them in between those other releases to keep the hype going for your books, right? To keep people engaged and going after them. If you're releasing a book, like let's say one of my names is releasing every 8 weeks, that's every 2 months. So that means that I have other weeks though where I can be relevant and be putting in assets and stuff in front of other people. So here's some of the things that I would do. So to fill up that space between releases, I might have audiobooks, which of course take a little bit more time and are more expensive, but I might have an audiobook done. So I'll wait maybe 2 weeks after release. I'll let my newsletter know and everybody know, oh my gosh, I've got the paperbacks, yay! Because it's another way, another thing to announce, right? You do you though, because if you like putting paperbacks up of your book on the same day as release, go for it. I also know some people who do the paperbacks like a week early, and that's when their reviewers go in and drop all their reviews. That works too. You do you. These are just items and suggestions that you can have for how to put up more assets and to fill up that space and ways that you can push that ebook even further than just an ebook. We've talked about hardcovers. I believe those kind of fit into the paperback space. I do them for some, I don't do them for all, so it really just comes down to what you're comfortable with and what you want to do. So my apocalyptic name would probably do well for this, graphic novels. You have to hire a graphic design artist or an illustrator, and that would work, and it's great. It's an awesome idea. Sci-fi works really well for this. The imagery is where it works really well. Romance novels, romance readers just like brain candy. They just want to eat, read. So they're not really the demographic for this, but thrillers might be, cozy mysteries might be. That's something that you'd have to actually look at the market and see if there is something there for that. But there's a lot of spaces where this will work. So I have like my Barely Live series under another name. It's zombies. This would work really well for that because readers of zombies like graphic novels. They like the imagery. They like the grotesque. They like seeing the stages, the spatial features, and they like that. So that kind of a thing might be appropriate for that name, not necessarily for my Sweet Westerns. Another one that I could sell or that I could use for an opt-in would be short stories. These are great. So if you, I know Lena Johnson does this with her Liz Isaacson thing. People are like, oh, I want to know what happened with such and such. So she'll write a short story and give it to her newsletter. It's an incentive to sign up. It's great. So she tags it in the back of her book. Hey, if you want to find out what happened to so-and-so, sign up here and get this free short story. And so they're a great way to use. They also are awesome if you put them on like your website and link people there. It's a great way to get to get visibility for your writing, to get visibility for your series, if it specifically ties into a series. It's just a great way to give more content to your readers. But again, it is creating more content. So that's one thing that might be a drawback. I don't know about you, but I'm focusing on my full length stories. If I have time and I want to flush out something, I might do it. But usually for me, I need to stay on my production schedule. With as many names as I'm juggling, trust me, there's not a lot of space for writing short stories. So again, this is just an idea. Another thing that you could sell is merchandise. So I have been slowly implementing this with a lot of my pen names. I've got shirts available, journals, yoga mats, depending on the brand. There's all different kinds of things that you can merchandise and sell. A lot of people are like, oh, but that's swag and I give that away. And that's great. But what if you could sell it and your reader could be a part of your mystery club? Here, join the mystery club and go and buy one of these, get a discount, whatever. But there's lots of ways you can set those up. But merchandise is a great way. I know that the Coopers do this. MD Cooper does this and sells like cover art or poster art and stuff because all of the books look amazing, right? The cover art's amazing on those books. And so those are options that they do is they sell merchandise, and it's awesome because They've got a store set up, so it's linked in there, and it works really well. So that would be under posters with graphics. That's great, and I have great covers. I love my covers. I design my own covers, so I better love them. But I could do that too with a lot of my stuff, is I could turn around and be like, hey, you know, here, take Clearwater County, that's my world. Take Clearwater County and bring it home. You know, I could do keyboard mouse, the mouse pads, I think they're called mouse pads. I could do magnets for fridges. I could do coasters. So anything like that that I know my readers love, I could do that with and turn it into merchandise that they could purchase to be part of my world. Another one that I've seen done really well is character cards. You would need to look at copyright and stuff, but character cards might be something that is published on like playing cards. There are pictures that you have copyright to. Maybe you have information about each person, you know, I don't know, Paul from my Barely Live series. He might have, you know, different stages that he's in, things that he likes. He really likes Heather. He can't decide if he wants to eat her or kiss her. He's a teenage boy though, so it's not like he doesn't want to do both, because he's always hungry, right? So there's all these different things that you can do. Character playlist, like playlist on audio or on your YouTube channel. Oh, here, check out my playlist for my Clearwater County series. Or you could do that on Pinterest too. Check out my Pinterest board for my Clearwater County series. So those types of things are free. They're awesome to link to. They keep you relevant. They keep you in your reader's mind. The character cards though, is something that you can be like, hey, have you collected such and such? And you can do this a couple ways. You could do it where it's a free printable that you put in your newsletter and it links to the books and stuff, and they can print it themselves, or you can sell them, or you can do a whole like collections cards, whatever. But it's really, I keep saying this, but it's really about how you are going to use this. Are you going to use it free as a marketing thing? Are you going to use it as merchandise that they can access and as giveaways? Like, what are you doing to push your series more and to have an asset that's available in between your releases? For instance, I love tote bags. I have a tote bag obsession, and almost all of my series have their own tote bags because I'm crazy and I love that. Another one that I know that is doing this, Mia Ellis and Laura Perez, they have a really great series out that they've started. I think book 2 is coming out soon, and they have the logo is amazing. I'll see if I can get it put up in the corner here so you can see it. But they're putting it on things too and making it available. And I almost want it as a tattoo. It is so beautiful. So there's things like that, right, that you can do. Okay, Mia, there you go. That's an idea. Make it as a temporary tattoo and give it to your readers, or make it available for sale. Coming up with ideas, people. That's how we work. Some things that you can do for free: quote graphics. So if you have imagery from your book cover, put quotes in from your book. Put that up and put it in your newsletter. Send it out on your Facebook pages. Make it printable. So people, or make it also where you can just put little instructions. Save this as your Facebook profile picture. Save this to your Facebook and share it. Save this to your wallpaper on your computer, on your phone. Make it so that it's accessible to your readers. Another thing that you could do that would be free for your readers is a newsletter series. Be like, hey, click here if you want to receive this newsletter series and get to know such and such's relationship here. Right? So that's one thing that you can do. Another thing that you could do that would be free that I've done, and I'll put the little image right here or here. I'm not sure which one it would be, but I'll put the image of it. I've done a ton of printable bookmarks. My readers love them. Every time I have a series come out, I get an email, hey, when are your printable bookmarks coming out? And they love them. I mean, you can see they're really easy to do. I do them on Canva. I also do them in Photoshop. It just depends where I'm at and where the fonts are that I've got. But they're beautiful, and the readers love them. I'll put some links down here so you can check them out below as well, so you can go actually see what they look like. Print some out if you want, whatever. But they're great, and you can do this because it's your work. These are ways to create assets. So I actually release the printables usually around the same time that I do like a recipe book or something for that specific series. And what's great is I don't actually put the content into the recipe books. I have my readers send me the content that they want included. They have to fill out the copyright promise, whatever, and they send it to me, and then I put it into a cookbook, and then I give that to the readers. And so that's another way that I'm actually creating content. And that takes a little bit of time, but my readers love it. So that helps. So as you're coming up with these different releases and these different, let's also talk about box sets. So a box set doesn't just have to be about that series. So let's talk, like for instance, my Montana Trail series, it's a 10-book series. Each book is about 50,000 words, and they all tie in together. So I have box sets already. I have books 1 through 3, I have books 4 through 6, and then I have books 7 through 10. Those are 3 box sets. I also have coming out next month a full 10-book box set that I'll offer for $19.99, and then I will have because that's not the only Western series I have, obviously. I think in Clearwater County I have 9 series. So I will do a 9-book box set of the first, meet your first, pick your first world, whatever. So first book in that series, in that entire box set. So book 1, but it will be in order so they can pick. And then come back to that box set and maybe go to the next series if they want to. And that one I might offer for $2.99 since they're all series starters. And the goal is to get them into reading more books, which is great because 9 books for $2.99, who wouldn't jump on that, right? So there's all different kinds of options that you can have. Audiobooks can also be turned into box sets. That will actually get your credits time up, and use more of it. You get more reading hours in. There's lots to do. There's so many different things you can do. I really hope that you have gotten your brain, your brain's like all warmed up and ready to brainstorm some. I hope that I've helped you figure out more ways that you can stretch that time and use that time in between releases. It might also give you a little extra time too to plan. So for me, I've actually been incorporating this more. I'm going to start using my audiobooks more and start putting more implementation into using my backlist and making it more of these extra assets, so that I can stretch out my releases a little bit. I have enough books out that my marketing plan should be able to do enough things in between releases that my name and my backlist are actually making me money. And that's what I'm hoping you'll get, so that you don't have to rapid release every single book, so that you can get to where your backlist is making your cash and your releases are a nice bump that takes you up to the next level. That's the goal. And the marketing plan is really there just to help you do that. Okay? So if you have any questions, again, put them below. Go ahead and go to findingyourindy.com and fill out the sheets, the questionnaires, and let me know how you're doing. Let me know if you have any questions that you want me to cover. Please, please, please hit subscribe so that you don't miss anything, and make sure that you ding notifications, that you want notifications so you don't miss any, because I've got more Monday mini marketing tips coming. I have more series coming. There's lots to learn. There's lots to do that you can implement in your marketing plan, and it doesn't always have to be a bunch of money to market. So I just hope that you are ready to learn more, and I'm so excited to have you on our video series here for parts to our marketing plan and break it down. And anyways, okay. So let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to talking. Our next video is about funneling, and that's going to be the next piece, the 4th piece in our marketing plan must-haves. So if you, again, any questions, I hope you're ready, because funneling is one of my absolute obsessions, and I know how to make anything turn into a funnel. It's super fun. All right, thanks you guys, and I'll look out for you on the other side.